No, I can't hear you.
Manager for Griffin, and I'm here today to tell you about some of the new varieties for the 2021 season. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't had a chance yet, the handout is available in the plant booth that is behind the Green Goods landing page. You can grab that under presentations. Also in the plant booth, you'll be able to find our seed and plant new variety catalog, where you'll be able to take a look at over 430 new introductions. We're not going to talk about that many today, so don't get scared. So we're going to get started right now, and I'm going to turn the video off so we can see the screen. Okay, so here we go. Number one on our list today is Florencio begonia. This is a new begonia from Syngenta. It's an interspecific hybrid. That interspecific breeding is what gives it really great garden performance. It's available in 5 colors. It has an upright grower-friendly habit, so it's easy to produce. It has medium vigor and it's well branched, so it's ideal for medium to large size containers. Again, bred for outstanding outdoor performance, so it's going to hold up to the rigors of the season and provide season-long color to the end consumer. The next item that we have is Grace begonia. This one is a vegetative boliviensis. It has a really tight branching habit, so it works across a range of container sizes. It sits all of the flowers right on top of the foliage, so that you get a really nice appearance at retail. Also, that makes it easier to grow and show in smaller containers if you want to do these into a 4-inch pot, all the way up to a gallon. Also great in mixed containers. It's a strong garden performer that's going to flower all season long, and they've told us it has performance like a tissue culture variety. So this is a product that could probably command a higher price at retail. A new interspecific geranium from Syngenta this year called Caldera is a kind of a caliente type. It combines the heat performance of caliente with the feel of an ivy leaf cascading geranium. So this is actually a kind of a mounding spreading habit that will fall over the edge of the pot. It's not necessarily a cascading ivy, but you'll be able to use it in hanging baskets as well as in planters. And it's a very durable plant with large flowers, so it is going to also do well in in-ground plantings. It's available in 3 colors, pink, red, and salmon. The breeder describes the foliage as a steel blue-green, so it contrasts really nicely with the flower colors. It's going to be a little bit later to flower than Caliente with more vigor. It's not going to trail, as I said, like a balcony type, but it does have really nice durable stems. So as that plant falls over the edge of the pot, it's going to hold up well. It's not going to break, and it's going to do really well, as I said, in in-ground plantings. And of course, what would a new year be without a new Calliope geranium? Calliope is still the #1 interspecific geranium on the market. And just to kind of reclassify all these interspecifics for you, we have Calliope large, which is the first introduction in the Calliopes. Really big plants, big flowers. These are for your landscape beds. These are for areas where you really need a lot of extra vigor. Calliope medium is about 20 to 25% less vigorous than Calliope large, but still with extra large blooms, still with plenty of garden vigor for large containers and landscape beds. It's a really nicely branched plant with excellent heat tolerance. The new color for 2021 is Calliope Medium Cherry. And going on with more interspecific geraniums from Syngenta, we have Mojo. Mojo was introduced last year with 1 color, dark red. This year, 4 new colors are being introduced, so Mojo is officially a series. Mojo features the leaf color of Tango, the habit of Americana, and the flower quality of Calliope. So This is going to give you a beautiful product that you can grow in 1 to 2.5 quart pots. Again, it's going to be about 20% less vigorous versus Calliope medium, so it's going to give you just a little bit more control. It's a dark leaf variety. They say if you're confused by this, it has similar vigor to Americana, so it's going to give you that kind of nice 4-inch, 1 to 2 quart pot size geranium. The new colors for the series are Cranberry Splash, Orange, Salmon, and White. And all these new colors are going to flower about 4 to 6 days earlier than the original dark red. If you have some flexibility in your URC or your liner deliveries, you can plant this one a week earlier, plant the dark red a week earlier to time them all together. But 4 to 6 days, it's worth the wait to get that dark red in color. Last year also was introduced Moxie geraniums. So Moxie is also a compact interspecific. It's going to be more compact than Mojo. It's a green leafed variety. They say that you would compare this series to like a tango sized plant. So it's going to be a little bit more densely branched, and so it's going to hold together in a tight mound that makes it possible to grow this plant pot tight in quart pots. So Moxie is where you're going to go if you really want that kind of flatted 4-inch pot geranium, still with that interspecific heat performance, still with that interspecific flower quality and durability in the garden. So new colors for Moxie this year are orange and violet, and an improvement on white. One last new geranium from Syngenta this year is Rosalie. Rosalie is a zonal geranium with these beautiful rosebud-like flowers in a soft pink color, really irresistible to consumers at retail. It has a controlled habit that works in small to medium containers, and it also performs really well in garden beds. They describe the vigor on this one as a vigorous tango. And as you can see, it has green leaves. Deco petunia is a really nice spreading petunia that has a smaller flower, a densely branched mounding habit. So that makes it really versatile. It will grow in pots, combos, baskets, and is outstanding in landscape beds. It's been getting really good reviews from all of the trial sites for exceptional garden performance. So this is kind of a small to medium-sized flower that covers the entire plant. Those smaller flowers are very weather tolerant, so you get a continuous show of color. And that densely branching habit means that it won't split apart late in the season in the landscape bed. 11 colors now in the series. The new addition this year is this beautiful bright yellow banana. Moving on to proven winners, we have new begonia this year. This is called Double Delight. The color that we're featuring here is the blush rose. There's also a new Double Delight primrose. These both have an abundance of cascading blooms. They have a citrus-like fragrance, which is kind of nice. Really great vigor and branching and more flowers on the plant, good sun tolerance. This is a really nice tuberous begonia for garden performance, for containers and planters. Also more tolerant of Xanthomonas than other series. You can grow these in that 4.25 grande, containers, hanging baskets, window boxes, monocultures, a really beautiful plant that works in part to full sun in the north. Double Up Red is a double flowering vegetative wax begonia, so in that semperflorens category. It makes an outstanding 4-inch crop in production. It blooms very early because it's day length neutral, so you can produce it any time of year, and it flowers all summer long. The red has dark foliage and double red flowers. There's also a pink with green leaves, and there's a white that is also a bronze leaf variety. They have great heat tolerance and an abundance of early self-cleaning double flowers. So self-cleaning means that those flowers are going to abscess and fall off, so that you don't have a lot of dirty flowers hanging onto the plant. Vigorous uniform plants are really durable in containers and in landscape beds, and they have a really great retail shelf life. Proven Winners is introducing 2 new calocasias this year. Calocasias are really popular because they give you that tropical look on your patio or at the back of a planting bed. So these are nice in pond plantings as well, or a striking focus plant in large combination planters. And you can see that coffee cups is beautiful all by itself in a decorative pot. So coffee cups is the distinctive cup-shaped olive green foliage with some mocha accents. And the heart of the jungle is a more traditional, tall, kind of heart-shaped leaves. It has black stems, which is really intriguing. And again, those are gorgeous in landscape beds, especially that heart of the jungle in the middle of a giant mixed container would be absolutely stunning. And you can see that they have some size to them, getting fairly large in the garden. This is a new ipomea from Proven Winners called Sweet Caroline Medusa. It's a chartreuse green ipomea, and what's distinctive about this is that it has a very deeply lobed, 7-lobed leaves that gives it a real kind of tropical look again. And it has really tight inner nodes, so it forms a compact mounded to slightly trailing plant. What's unique about this in a chartreuse is that it won't flag or fade in the heat. A lot of times these chartreuse colored ipomeas, the leaves want to roll in the heat of the day, and this one will lay nice and flat the way it's supposed to. Again, that habit makes it well behaved in recipes, so it does well in mixed combinations. You can use it in monocultures. The Proven Winners marketing manager had an idea that this might be a nice product to use like you would a Boston fern in a hanging basket program, just as it is, giving a nice bright green color on the patio. Well, Proven Winners liked this lantana so well that they gave it a whole bunch of names. It's part of the Luscious series, and the color is Royale Red Zone. It's a certified sterile selection, so it's non-invasive, and it will also just keep flowering its head off because it's not going to stop to set seed. Large clusters of fragrant pollinator-friendly blooms. They come out red and orange bicolor, and then eventually transition to a pure glowing red. It's a compact plant with a lot of branching, so it sits up well in containers. It works beautifully in landscapes, in combinations, and in monoculture plantings. Worth noting is that this thing performed extremely well in all of the Proven Winners rigorous screening trials, outperforming every other lantana that they put it up against. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have a cool season plant here in Osteospermum Bright Lights. The new color is red. It's a brick red selection that actually has really good heat tolerance for Osteospermum, which means you're going to have a much longer sales window for this product. Season-long flowering is important for spring color going into the early summer, and then again for production in late summer for fall containers. Beautiful again in 4.25 grandes, recipes, monocultures, good in full sun to part sun. So that extra heat tolerance is going to increase your sales window for Osteospermum. And what would a new year be without a new Super Bells from Proven Winners? Super Bells and the next slide, Super Tunias, are still the top selling series in the Proven Winners assortment. The new color this year is this beautiful coral sun. coral and sunny yellow bicolor. As you can see, all of the proven winners have an abundance of large flowers that sit on top of the foliage. All of the superbells are screened for Thalaviopsis, resistance, so that you get good season-long garden performance. This is a really nice mounded habit with lots of color on top, so it's going to be irresistible at retail. It's an early blooming variety, and it's going to stay in color all season long. This is a really exciting improvement from proven winners. I learned recently that Supertunia Royal Velvet has been in the proven winners assortment for 19 years, so it was due for an improvement. You have to be really careful when you improve this one, because the thing that sells it is that beautiful royal purple color. And they have managed to improve the performance on this variety without changing the color. So that is extremely important. They've made it easier to grow with enhanced retail appeal. So tighter branching, fuller plants, and more durable performer all season long. It has excellent heat and humidity tolerance. And again, the color match is perfectly matched to the previous Royal Velvet. No changes there. Duman is introducing several new dahlias this year. I focused on the Dahlia Mega Bloom Berry Blast. Mega Bloom is eventually going to be a whole series of colors, but this year they're rolling it out with this one color. Berry Blast has a unique explosion of magenta on white. You can see that extra large flowers are sitting close to the top of the foliage. They say that it's the same flower size as the XXL dahlias. And again, shorter peduncles so that you get a nice show of color right on top of the plant. Roller Coaster Hot Pink was introduced by Duman a couple of years ago. This is a fully double flowered New Guinea impatiens. This year they're adding 5 more colors to the Roller Coaster series, all with that double flower with the ruffled edges. So you get that flower that sort of sits up a little bit and gives you that 3D appearance on top of the plant. These are definitely shade-only New Guineas, but as you can see, really beautiful retail plants. This is probably the most exciting new introduction for Duman this year. You recall last year they introduced Durabloom Royal Pink. So again, it was the introduction into their new interspecific series of petunias. Now they've added 6 more colors. This is a new species that they found in the wild that has a very aggressive root system. So this aggressive root system makes these plants more heat and drought tolerant. And also, this wild species, the petals on the flowers were extra thick, which makes them extremely rain resistant. So this is a plant that's going to hold up outdoors in all kinds of weather. Again, unmatched heat and weather tolerance, strong growth and disease resistance. You're going to see sturdy stems on this plant, so they're extremely durable in the landscape. Day neutral flowering, which allows you to produce these plants early in the season. Especially if you're growing for landscape use, you'll be able to get them into color in a 306 pack. And although vigorous, they have a tall upright structure, so that upright structure really allows other plants to grow through it. If you want to use it in mixed combinations, it's going to play well with others. 6 new colors join Royal Pink in Durabloom. And if you go to the digital catalog, the Griffin New Variety catalog, on the Durabloom page, you'll see a link to a Durabloom video where the product manager shows you some actual live plants at their California spring trials and talks you through all the wonderful things about Durabloom. It's worth a look. Also new this year in petunias from Duman is the Sparkle Petunia, which is in a sub-series of Surprise. So like Surprise, it's going to fit well timing-wise with all the other colors in that series with a semi-spreading habit. What's unique about these, as you can see, is that white speckle that shows up on all of the flowers, which is really stunning. And that sparkle is pretty consistent through varying temperatures and weather conditions. So you're not going to lose the sparkle based upon how it's been grown. These are ideal candidates for hanging baskets, great in combinations. And as you can imagine, set any of these up against a white background like Empress White Verbena or Kona White Calibrachoa, and they're going to make stunning baskets and combinations. Couple more new introductions from Doom and Orange. Begonia Iconia Upright Sunshine. So this is an addition to the Iconia series. And remember that the Iconia collection of begonias are selected specifically for superior branching and flowers that sit above the foliage so that you get the absolute best retail presentation on this product. So this is the 4th upright series in the Iconia collection. It has bright yellow flowers and it has dark, nearly black foliage. So a really stunning pairing there. Great for containers and also works really well in landscape plantings. And also new from Dooman this year is this really cool looking coleus here. It's called Le Freak, appropriately. It's a standalone variety. It'll work well in mass plantings and containers. It has that long, narrow, strappy foliage in that bicolor pattern. So it performs very nicely in mixed containers and in flower beds. Does well in sun or shade. Cicada is introducing a couple of new sun patients. So sun patients are hybrid New Guineas that have been on the market now for 12 years. So, you know, they are a decade ahead of other breeding that's out there. And we're gonna see a lot of new changes coming into this series to enhance the performance of these New Guineas that we have come to count on over the year. You have compact sun patients. Those are the ones you're going to see most often at retail. They're easy to grow. They work well in 306 packs and 4-inch pots. Really nice sell through at retail. The vigorous sun patients are really better if you're in the far north and you're trying to produce something under colder growing conditions. So they're going to give you that plant body that you need under cooler growing conditions. Or if you're looking for massive color in a landscape installation or extra large containers or baskets, the vigorous sun patients will work for you there as well. 2 new colors this year in sun patients. They're both compacts. We have Compact Rose Glow, which features vibrant rose magenta flowers. And then Compact Hot Pink. Compact Hot Pink has an abundance of blooms, and this one has proven to be exceptionally heat and wilt tolerant. So if you recall last year, their new introduction was called Orchid Blush, and Orchid Blush was touted as needing, now what did they say? They said it was much less of a water hog. And this Compact Pink has those same characteristics. There are some new genetics that they're introducing into their breeding lines. And so I believe more and more we're going to see these wilt tolerant sun patients coming onto the market. So now we have new Hot Pink and last year's new Orchid Blush. Suntory is introducing a monster of a bracteantha called Granvia Gold. This one was actually previewed last year at the California Spring Trials, and there may have been a few plants out in the marketplace, but this is the full launch year for this variety. It's a really impressive bracteantha that has full vigorous plants that attain twice the size of other series. They have 3 to 5 inch flowers, and the plant can eventually get 18 to 30 inches tall by 18 to 24 inches wide. So it's a stunning plant in landscape beds, in really large patio containers. They're recommending it for 8-inch pots or larger. And of significance is really good mildew resistance. Crop time on this is pretty quick. They're saying 8-inch pot. You put one liner in an 8-inch pot and you can finish it in about 7 weeks. 12-inch pots, you want to put 3 liners in and those will finish in about 8 to 10 weeks. Sonetti has a new color. This is Sonetti Violet. That brings the series up to 13 colors. Sonetti Violet matches Ruby Red in habit. And of course, nothing beats Sonetti Pericalis for gorgeous early cool season color. I have to say this year when my favorite garden center opened, I had an appointment to shop there because they were doing appointments. They wanted to keep the population down in the greenhouse. So as I drove past, they had a bench right out in front of the store that was just loaded with 8-inch pots of Sonetti, and they were absolutely gorgeous. I went inside the store, came back out after my hour-long appointment of shopping, and that bench was about half empty. So everybody was walking out the door with a gorgeous Sonetti pot. So this is something definitely that you want to think about getting into your assortment. Again, if you go to our digital catalog on the Sonetti page, there is a link to some culture that Suntory has developed that will help you produce your best crop. These are best, of course, in 8 to 10-inch pots. If you're in Vinca land, then you really want to take a look at these Soiree Kauai Catharanthus from Suntory. You look at them and they have little flowers and they have little leaves and they're little plants, but I got to tell you, these things perform like crazy in a planter, in a pot, even in a landscape bed. I've seen these in really harsh conditions in trials in Dallas, Texas in late June when it's 104 degrees, and they are just flowering their little heads off. They have a low maintenance, really tight branching habit that spreads out in the garden, and it just goes crazy. Heat tolerant with very free flowering plants. The new color this year, Blueberry Kiss, is the first blue in the series, a light denim blue with a dark eye, and it matches well with the colors in the other series. And also new this year is Coral Reef. So you now have 8 colors to choose from. And again, I strongly recommend you give these a look if you haven't done that yet. Suntory introduced us to the Brenda Bella Rose collection a few years ago. Brenda Bella roses have bushy growth habits, excellent disease resistant, and fragrant, nearly full-size double flowers in a bunch of different colors. These are worth taking a look at. The new color this year, Purple Prince, was actually given an award for its garden performance. They are, the artist award is looking at plants in northern Midwest and Northeast. They're confirming that the hardiness is good in zones 4 and 5. And they are actually looking at the most disease and pest resistant rose cultivars throughout regional testing under low input conditions. So they're actually looking at plants the way a homeowner would treat a plant. And so this Brenda Bella Purple Prince has been awarded the Local Artist Award for its performance. And all of the Brenda Bella roses are really worth taking a look at. Low maintenance, very vigorous, yet they'll only grow to about 4 feet tall in 2 years' time, so they're not going to get out of control. These are available from Griffin as rooted liners from Sunfire Nurseries. Just an example, a 72-cell liner will finish a 2-gallon container in about 14 to 20 weeks. Moving on to some new perennials. Walter's Gardens is the perennial provider for proven winners. They have a series of hardy hibiscus called Summerific, and one of the notable new introductions in the Summerific series this year is French Vanilla. French Vanilla is a breakthrough for a yellow hardy hibiscus. It has soft yellow buds that open to 7 to 8 inch creamy custard yellow flowers with that nice dark red eye. And it retains its yellow color longer than previous yellow hardy hibiscus. It's a very prolific bloomer. It has red stems and deep green foliage, so it's extremely attractive. They're calling it compact, although, you know, these things get really big, so I think what they're referring to is the denseness of the habit and the way that it grows. They are all hardy to zone 4, and they will flower from midsummer all the way into the fall. Also new from Walter's Gardens and Proven Winners is Color Spire's Back to the Fuchsia Salvia. This is a very dark pink flower on dark charcoal stems. Flowers are produced prolifically above that canopy of dark green foliage. They are prolific late summer bloomers, and they have that full and vigorous habit. So they're vigorous, they are deer resistant, they have superb landscape performance, and they attract pollinators. So these are really great plants to have in your garden. Also new this year in the Color Spires series is Snow Kiss, which is has a large white flower with a soft pink lip. This plant does benefit from some vernalization. And new from Greenfuse Botanicals is Dakota Gold Rudbeckia. You see how patient breeders are. This is a near 10-year breeding program that has delivered this beautiful plant that is a true Rudbeckia hirta, but unlike other hirtas, it is day length neutral and hardy to zone 5. So that day length neutrality means that you're going to be able to get this Rudbeckia in color for your main bedding sales season. So that's kind of exciting. Huge flowers, 5 to 6 inches across, will bloom, they say bloom daily. So basically what they're saying is it just is going to continuously bloom all summer long, with one plant being able to produce up to 20 or to 30 blooms at a time. A real stunner. Now we're going to move on to items from seed. First up is Angelonia from Pan American Seed. Angelonia Serenita and Serena are bedding Angelonias. They are absolutely fabulous in heat and drought. They do really well in full sun conditions. Serenita is the more compact of the two, and that one is probably more for where you're looking for border plants, or if you're in an area where it's extremely hot and the Serenas tend to get a little bit too tall and unruly, Serenita would be your choice. Serenita Lavender is a new color that will replace Lavender Pink, giving you a richer, darker color in that color class. And within Serena, we have 2 improved colors. Blue is improved to make it more distinguished from the purple improved. So purple is now a true purple, blue is now a true blue. The purple has a more intense color. It has an earlier flowering response and a better plant habit. And purple has been a production problem. It's in high demand and typically not in full supply. So we're looking forward to having plenty of seed available on Purple Improved this year. We introduced Fiona begonia last year with rose and red, and this year we're adding 2 new colors, pink and white. Fiona is a semi-double flowering semperflorens with a very high % of semi-double blooms. It combines early flowering with good garden performance. So you're going to get an abundance of color throughout the entire season. It works well in 4-inch pots at retail, makes beautiful patio containers. Well, this is one to kind of wrap your head around. This is Saul collection of foliage celosias. So the idea behind this is that you're going to have something new in a seed foliage plant to add interest and texture to containers. So it gives you something other than coleus to use in mixed containers. And it has resistance, no issues with downy mildew. So I think this is kind of one that you're going to want to take a look at. It's very interesting. Gecko green and lizard leaf are the 2 varieties. Both will be green in production. They'll start to get that those burgundy to burgundy red colors developing when the plant is outdoors in full sun. So about 2 weeks outdoors in full sun will enhance the foliage colors. I had the gecko green in my garden this year, and it did exactly that. When it was in the shade, it was green. When I moved it out into the full sun, it turned a really deep, dark red. Really nice. And they do set a flower, or I should say they will set a flower. It's a facultative short day. So, you know, with a long day sowing, they're not going to flower until very late in the season. And it's a really tiny, sort of insignificant, almost spicata-like bloom. If you go to panamseed.com and go to new products and search for gecko green and lizard leaf, there is some culture there that talks about flowering response under short days and gives you some really good cultural information about how to produce these. Pan Am is rolling out again. If you remember Fantastic Foliage, they're going to pull that back out because it's time again to look at seed combos, and the Sol foliage celosia is going to be a big part of that. Last year we introduced two downy mildew resistant impatiens wallerianas. Beacon is the Pan-American variety. It performs much like a super elfin, so it's going to fit very easily into your production. Last year they introduced it with 6 colors and 2 mixes, and this year they're adding a new rose, which is a very important color class. New this year, starting with new crop seed that starts coming in October, it will be offered in coated seed only. And I have a picture of what that coated seed looks like. That seed coating is going to make it flow through your seeders faster and easier, and it's going to help you with seed placement because it's going to be more visible on the soil. So that's an interesting little twist on Beacon impatiens. And also another impatiens walleriana with a high degree of downy mildew resistance, Amara. Amara was introduced also last year with 9 colors and a mix, and this year Syngenta is adding 5 more new mixes, putting those 9 colors to good use. Again, proven landscape performance that fights back against downy mildew pressure and continues flowering all season long. Happy is a new French marigold from Syngenta Flowers, and Happy is going to fall into that heat tolerant category along with Janie and Hot Pack and Little Hero. What's unique about Happy is that it has an extra dwarf habit that resists stretching. So you're getting a nice compact branching plant with high quality crested blooms that sit right on top of the flowers. It's got enough vigor to get it through that hot, harsh garden condition, but it's not going to stretch up and get out of control the way that some marigolds can in that heat situation. 5 colors this year and a complete mix. Syngenta Flowers acquired Flora Nova last year, and so 2 of the Flora Nova varieties of trailing pansies have entered the Syngenta Flowers assortment, Free Fall and Free Fall XL. So if you haven't given these a look, you might want to take a look at them. They are eventually going to replace Wonderfall in the Syngenta Flowers assortment. Free Fall is a little bit smaller flower. That was the first rollout in this trailing category. Free Fall is actually a little bit lower price point. So if you're trialing trailing pansies for the first time, you might want to look at that. It's a little bit more economical to produce, to purchase and produce. Free Fall XL is the newer line, and that has larger flowers on the same tidy trailing habit. So it's going to give you a little bit more premium look, a little bit higher price point for the seed. New for 2021 in Free Fall is the True Blue that you see there, and new for 2021 in Free Fall XL is Fire, and also there's a new white. Flash Forward is a new spreading petunia series from Syngenta Flowers. It's actually a rework of the classic Picobella Cascade series. So over the last 3 to 4 years, Syngenta Flowers has been upgrading a lot of the colors within the Picobella Cascade series. And with these latest new introductions, they felt it was time to relaunch the series and give it a little bit of a new life. This is a great product that has always been underutilized. It's perfect in pots and baskets and color bowls. It has a very densely branched habit and it's covered in small flowers. So it's great in baskets, in beds. It works well in mixed combinations where it'll trail and not take over a container. It's extra early to flower, even in short days, so it gives you that early season color that you need. It's available in 11 colors and 3 mixes. Brand new genetics this year are the blue, which gave way to a new Patriot mix and a new Cool Waters mix, and also improved colors with new genetics for white and pink. Photo Finish is a new spreading petunia series from Syngenta Flowers. Photo Finish will eventually replace Plush and Ramblin'. So Plush was popular for its very early flowering response, so you could get it into color in extremely short days for early spring plantings and combinations. Ramblin', known for its excellent garden performance. So Photo Finish is going to bring those two qualities together into one series. Extremely uniform plant habit, uniform flowering. Again, extra early, free-flowering plants have less day length sensitivity, so they're going to flower very early in the season. Mounding branching habit works well in high density production, holds better at retail, requires less plant growth regulators in production, so therefore you're going to get faster garden fill, faster pot fill due to the fact that you're hammering them less with plant growth regulators in production. It's coming out this year with 8 colors and 2 mixes. And we have some new wave varieties this year. Easy Wave Rose Fusion has those mid-rose blooms with deep rose veins. It's an absolutely stunning color, very free flowering. I have it in my yard and it is covered in flowers right now. And it has a short day length flowering requirement of only 9 hours. So this is one you're going to be able to get into color very early. So it's going to extend your wave selling opportunity earlier into the season. And also new this year is a Shockwave. Shockwave has the smaller flowers, purple tie-dye. And as you can see with this purple tie-dye, you got a crazy amount of stuff going on there with blues and violets and whites. And that pattern is going to vary a bit according to temperature and light levels and the use of PGRs, but you're always going to have a lot of color going on. They did some consumer tests earlier in the season with this product, and it was very popular among homeowners. This one's a little bit later than the Rose Fusion, but still plenty early flowering in that wave category with a 10.5-hour flowering response. And new from Sakata this year is a primula called Princessa. This is an early to mid-season variety. It has extra large flowers, so it nearly 2 times the flower size of a regular Acaulis. We always have been getting requests for a variety called Hercules, which is a little bit hard to come by. So I'm hoping this Princessa is going to give us that extra large flower size that we're looking for, where we need a big, showy Acaulis primula. This is great for 5-inch containers because it's a little bit larger plant. Of course, you can also grow it in 4.5-inch. You can put multiple plants into larger containers if you want to do some color bowls or something a little bit more exciting for spring color. High heat tolerance, so it has less flower abortion under warm conditions. It requires very little vernalization to get it into bloom. Rolling it out this year with 6 colors and a mix. And this is not a new series, but it's new to Griffin, so I'm throwing it in there because I want to make sure everybody takes a look at it. This is Blockbuster, again coming from the Flora Nova breeding. This is a hybrid vinca. It does not have the Phytophthora resistance of Cora XDR, but because it's a hybrid, because it has extra vigor, it does do fairly well in very low disease pressure areas. So if you're looking for a hybrid vinca, take a look at this one. It has large flowers with overlapping petals, and those flowers hold that nice round shape even under stressful growing conditions. Sometimes you can get a little bit strappier looking flowers when the plants are under stress, and this one keeps those nice round flowers. Strong, vibrant colors, excellent branching, short internodes so that it holds its shape really well. And also new in vinca this year is 2 new colors going into the tattoo series. You remember that tattoo was introduced a couple of years ago with these really cool colors, black cherry, papaya, raspberry, and tangerine. And all of those colors will exhibit what they call an airbrushed look with a dark purple laying on top of the blooms. That color expression is shows itself best in warm temperatures and moderate light conditions. The new blueberry that joins tattoo, of course, dark purple airbrush, not going to be quite as distinctive on the blueberry, but still it's a great product to join that series. And now that means that your American Pie is moving into the tattoo series. So jams and jellies, blueberry jams and jellies, American Pie is going to go away. You want to grow those things in your assortment, look for them now in the tattoo series. I threw a couple of Simply Salads in here for a couple of reasons. One, they're new. These are Pro San and Pro Tattoo, and both of these are Asian greens. The Pro San has a classic flavor, the Pro Tattoo a spicy flavor, and you can see that there are variations in leaf types and leaf colors within these. I want to talk about these specifically because of this precision multi-pellet. So, and there's a picture of the multi-pellet there on the screen. What you're getting is one pellet that has all of these varieties mixed in. So, you know, very fun, easy way to get something unique on your bench in early spring, or maybe even again for fall sales. One of those pellets in a quart pot will give you just a cute little take home, or as you can see here, they're really nice in color bowls. I've seen them planted into colanders, just some really unique gift items for spring and fall sales. Simply Salads come in a bunch of different varieties. These are the 2 new ones. And also, while we're on the subject, I just kind of want to bring up Simply Herbs again. Simply Herbs are also a multi-pellet. So again, what you can do is put one pellet into a 4-inch pot and produce a nice uniform herb crop, rather than having some of your pots with 2 or 3 plants in them and some of your pots with 8 or 10 plants in them. You're going to end up with a much more uniform crop of herbs at the end of the day. And I'll also mention that if you're still trying to grow rosemary from seed, take a look at the rosemary multi-pellet, because you're going to be much more successful that way. A few new seed perennials and then we're done. Delphinium Desante Blue, not brand new this year, excuse me. This one was available and then it went away and we missed it terribly, but they had to rework it to get it back into production to produce the plants more true to type. And that's all been reworked and it's back on the market. The Desante Blue is a regular garden grandiflora type delphinium. It's going to be about 6 inches shorter than Guardian. So if you're doing gallon production or 2-gallon production for landscape beds, garden beds, this is a good one to choose. And it's a blue and it's available right now. So worth taking a look at Desante Blue. Pan American is introducing the Artisan collection of Echinacea. These are F1 hybrid Echinaceas. These are the first F1 hybrid Echinaceas from seed, so this is pretty exciting. The other thing that's exciting is that you have red ombre and soft orange, so you have some unique colors in this series. The F1 hybrid offers consistency of plant structure for a uniform, highly branched full plant. You're going to end up with more plants ready for sale at the same time within the plant population because of that high uniformity. And they have enhanced the seed to give you better germination. I don't exactly know what that enhancement is, but you are getting much better germination on these. On both of these, the colors are going to open darker and then soften with age. And if you are doing a fall flowering program, again, going to our new variety catalog on the perennial seed pages, there's a link to the Pan American recipe for getting echinaceas into color for fall sales. And they have now expanded those instructions to include the artisan echinaceas that you see here. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you very much for joining, and be sure to stop by the plant booth and see what we have to offer. Thank you for coming.